Before we begin today's video, I'd like to give a shout out to one of our newest subscribers, God Level. Thank you for subscribing, and welcome to the family. And now on with today's villainous video. Greetings, my dear viewers. Welcome back to the month of villainy. Today we are looking at Pathfinder once again. This is Pathfinder Hero Flux, short for Fluctuation, and we bring characters from across media into Pathfinder 2nd Edition so that you can play them at your table. And today we're looking at one of Pathfinder's greatest villains, Nualia Tobyn. Last week I said that Belmazog was my second favourite villain thus far. That means, yes, Nualia is currently my number one villain. And that is because she is an Awesomar. In the remaster, it's classified as Nephilim, but nonetheless, she is an Awesomar. Those blessed by divinity of the higher planes. Now, to Nualia, this was actually a curse. I talked about this infrequently, but she is that character I mentioned where an Awesomar would see their celestial gift as more of a curse. And this stereotype of the tragic backstory is just written so beautifully. Apologies, Nualia. I know how much that triggers you. Why does that trigger Nualia? Well, that is because Nualia was raised by a religious leader of Desna, known as Zekan Tobyn. And all throughout her childhood, she was seen as a celestial gift from Desna. This caused many of the other children her age to either be jealous of her or too shy to approach her, to the point where those who were jealous did the stereotypical thing and played cruel pranks on her. And of course, when it comes to a celestial entity or some form of celestial gift, the religious nutcases would think that Nualia would be able to cure certain rashes or boils, or even be able to drive out demons with just the sound of her voice. Suffice to say, Nualia hated the attention and just wanted to be a normal child. But of course, this was never to be because of her adoptive father being a religious leader. And of course, her celestial gift, or as she preferred to call it, a celestial taint. Now, due to the fact that she was treated as a higher being, she literally fell in love with the first person that treated her like a normal human. The name has slipped my mind. I think it was like Verdun or something. But anyway, this guy was the only person to treat Nualia like another human. So she instantly fell in love with him. But because of her father, she kept the relationship a secret. And eventually, she fell to the pressures given by her boyfriend, and they ended up, well, consummating a couple of times. And one time it actually produced a child. And in stereotypical D-bag fashion, this guy calls her a harlot and books it. ruining Nualia's reputation on the way out. So now she is left alone, and being punished by her father, of course, is left to raise this child on her own. But there were complications, you see, and the child had to be given a C-section, which is why Nualia has these scars on her stomach. Unfortunately, the child was dead. But even worse, at least from the point of view of anyone not Nualia, the child was deformed, monstrous even, something unnatural compared to the celestial beauty that was Nualia. You see, where they two had consummated this child was in the area of influence of a temple of Lamashtu. And so this divine power seeped into Nualia's womb, deforming, quote-unquote, the child into this monstrous form. Nualia, while, yes, sad that her child died, was actually fascinated that her child was not another celestial being like her. That it was, quote-unquote, ugly. And she was sad that she was not able to raise this child, and be able to raise it in a way that was different from her father and the surrounding citizens. So, Nualia went back into the catacombs where she had last consummated with her now ex, and eventually found this hidden temple to Lamashtu, and ended up releasing a quasit by the name of Ilium, who was a servant of Lamashtu. And Nualia instantly became friends with Ilium, who ended up teaching Nualia about the teachings of Lamashtu. Nualia does get a happy ending, thankfully. She ends up getting revenge on her ex and on her father. So happy endings all around. But that's not the end of her story, you see. She got another vision. A vision from Lamashtu. She tasked Nualia with freeing one of her chosen, a bar guest by the name of Malfeshnekor. So she ends up going out with her friend Ilium and taking over a tribe of goblins. And now, together, they all seek to release the bar guest, and Nualia seeks out one additional goal: to rid herself of her celestial taint, and to become a monster herself. Now that we got her backstory, let's go ahead and jump right into the character build. Starting things off with our stats, Nualia is going to have a strength, dexterity, constitution, and charisma of 12. She is a human with the heritage of Nephilim. This will increase our constitution and charisma each by 2. We also get hit points equal to 8, plus additional hit points from our class later on. We are a size of medium. We get a speed of 25 feet. Languages of common and goblin. And for our ancestry feats, we will get Angelkin. This will give us the language of the Empyrean. We get the trained skill of society, and we get a free feat in multilingual, giving us 2 additional languages. This isn't really important. You can just go with the languages of devils or demons or whatever you need to get closer to Lamashtu. Moving on to our background. This will give us a +2 to our wisdom and to our charisma. We're going with blessed. Technically, we're blessed by a celestial entity, but you can also say that you were blessed by Lamashtu herself. That's why you have that red demonic arm. You get trained in your patron deity lore, which is going to end up being Lamashtu, maybe even Desna. I'd rather go with Lamashtu, but Desna would also fit, since she was raised in a temple of Desna. You get a free spell in Guidance as well. Moving on to our class, we're going with Cleric. This will increase our Wisdom by 2 points, give us an additional hit points of 8 plus our Constitution modifier. We get proficiencies in Perception, which is now trained. Saving throws will be trained in Reflex, and experts in Fortitude and Will. For your skills, we are trained in Diplomacy, Intimidation, Religion, and Survival. We are trained in simple weapons, the falchion, which is our deity's favored weapon, and unarmed attacks. We are also trained in light armor, medium armor, and unarmored defense. Like I said, our deity is Lamashtu. We are going with the divine font of harmful font. And for our doctrine, we are going with War Priest, which gives us the free feat of Shield Block and some of the proficiencies that we have already listed. Level 2. We are going with the class feat of Divine Castigation and the skill feat of Intimidating Glare. Moving on to level 3, we are experts in Intimidation. We're going with the feat of Ancestral Paragon, giving us access to the Ancestry feat of Nephilim Lore, which makes us trained in Athletics and Acrobatics. We also get access to the second Doctrine. At Cleric level 4, we get the class feat of Domain Initiate. We're going with Abomination. And we also get the skill feat of Assurance, which we're going to be putting into Intimidation. At level 5, go ahead and increase your Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, and Wisdom, each by 2. We are now experts in our patron deity lore, and we're going with the Ancestry feat of Blessed Blood. We also get access to Perception Expertise. Moving on to level 6, we're going with the class feat of Channel Smite and the skill feat of Group Coercion. At level 7, we are now experts in Diplomacy. We're going with the feat of Incredible Initiative, and we get access to the third Doctrine. At level 8, we're going with the Fighter Dedication, which gives us access to normally either Acrobatics or Athletics, but we're already trained in those, so we'll go ahead and get trained in Occultism. And for our skill feats, we're going with Lasting Coercion. At level 9, we are now Masters in Intimidation. We're going with the Ancestry feat of Nephilim Resistance, giving us resistance to acid damage. We also get access to Resolute Faith. At level 10, go ahead and increase your Strength, Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma, each by 2. Go with the class feat of Basic Maneuver, giving us access to the fighter feat of Lunge, and the skill feat of Assurance, going into Patron Deity Lore. Moving on to level 11, we are now experts in Religion. Grab the feat of Robust Health. We also get access to the fourth Doctrine and Reflex Expertise. At level 12, grab the class feat of Emblazon Armament and the skill feat of Quick Coercion. Moving on to level 13, we are now experts in Survival. For your Ancestry feat, I recommend Bounce Back. You also get access to Divine Defense and Weapon Specialization. At level 14, go for the class feat of Advanced Maneuver, giving yourself the fighter feat of Vicious Swing. And go ahead and grab the skill feat of Battle Cry. At level 15, go ahead and increase your Strength by 2 points, while increasing your Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma each by 1 point. You get access to the skill of Occultism at Expert level. For your feat, Sanguine Tenacity makes perfect sense here. And we also get access to the 5th Doctrine. Level 16, you now get the class feat of Diverse Weapon Expert and the skill feat of Aura Sight. Moving on to level 17, we are Masters in Religion, and for your Ancestry feat, I recommend Heroic Presence. Well, technically you're a villain, this will work perfectly for your horde of goblins that you are going to be leading. Just pick 6 of them, or up to 10 for your 6th rank Zealous Conviction. Works perfectly for your army. At level 18, go with the class feat of Advanced Maneuver once again, but this time getting access to Fighter feat of Furious Focus. And go ahead and grab the skill feat of Too Angry to Die. At level 19, we are Legendary in the skill of Religion. Go with the feat of Toughness. We also have access to the Final Doctrine and a Miraculous Spell. And finally, at level 20, go ahead and increase your Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma each by 1, while increasing your Intelligence by 2. This means we get another skill. Go ahead and go for Arcana. For your class feat, your deity is going to protect you with the class feat of Inviolable. And you can always get guidance from Lamashtu with the skill feat of Divine Guidance. And that is all for today's video. What do you think of Nualia Tobyn? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to be able to fight against this character in a campaign. It would be such a treat to be able to fight against someone like Nualia Tobyn. But anyway, that is all for today's video. I do hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you again when I am online.